I mean, he had only half of his brain still at the time I visited him, but well, I mean, he had already been operated on and everything. But we thought, hey, okay, you'll be fine now. But no, maybe he didn't tell us the truth. I don't know.
Sorry to hear
About my, oh, well, that was at least 5 or 6 years ago. So,
of all the places that you've lived and visited, where would you like to return? Do you have any aspirations?
well, here,
Yeah.
that's not just because it was handy. That's because it's just so darn impressive. This is an amazing place. And this is the best university in the state. And this is the best campus and the best university in the state. In fact, this Anchorage is the best town in the best state in the best country the world has ever seen. So you're in heaven right now, basically. I thought that last night. We were shopping at Freddy's at Eagle River, and I'm looking around and this is paradise. Everything you could possibly want, practically, at least legally, right? And you got 12 varieties of it, So no.
For 200% markup.
Well, you do have to fly it here. Especially fresh fruit and veg. I mean, how?
Would you consider them fresh by the time they get up here?
I used to live in Salinas, California, and heads of lettuce would roll by in the street. I'm not kidding. We lived in Salinas. I was going to school in Monterey, but Monterey was just absolutely ridiculous for rent and everything. And so we found a nice apartment, which was about 30 minutes away. Worked out beautifully because there were 3 of us from the class that lived there, and so we did the dialogue there and back again, for the drive, which I was the driver, so that is great. I didn't even get to see the text. I'm just memorizing the dialogue, going over it without even seeing the written text. So that's great for memorizing stuff.
Where were you stationed in Germany?
Berlin. I think I showed people the picture of the field station. Were you here Tuesday? Maybe it was. Yeah, it looks like a phallic symbol. And I think that's pretty much on purpose. And that's the highest point in Berlin. And we could see Berlin from our house. I mean, we could see Poland from our house. Sorry, I messed that one up. That's a Sarah Palinism. I don't know if you catch that. But it's true. I mean, we could actually see Poland from there. And I'm sure Poland could see that. I never visited there, no. You were stationed where?
Sicily?
The island of Sicily.
There's a small air station down there.
Uh-huh.
Was there for 4 years.
I visited Aviano for about 8 hours on a Mac. But Sicily.
Mafioso still alive and real, that's for sure.
I've visited there in lots of different places using Google Earth because at Mount Etna is fascinating. I've got friends that actually walked around there, looked down, all the everything coming out and gases and.
They have a ski up there, ski and snowboard in the winter time.
Of course. My oldest son is in northern Japan skiing right now.
Oh, fantastic.
It's the second year he and his friends have done that. However, all right, almost. What was I going to do today? Stuff. We're going to do stuff today. Oh, I'm pretty sure this is how you spell it. So that should be interesting for at least one person. That's Chloe in Greek. Just thought you'd be interested. However, okay, we need to do stuff. So let's get. So I forgot to tell you, my name is Bill. If that's, you could call me mein Herr Professor if you like, whatever. But the only thing I don't like is when people call me late for dinner. That's a joke. All right. Bad joke. I do have an office upstairs in the philosophy department. You're welcome to come up. I'm only planning on being there, though, for roughly an hour after class on Tuesday and Thursday. Not planning on having other office hours unless people need to see me for something. Then we can arrange something. I did opt to get a parking pass another semester because I'm getting old enough that my wife doesn't want me walking from the secret parking lot where it's free. So I won't even tell you that APU has such a parking lot. I won't tell you how close it is and how free it is. But what else? Okay. So my room upstairs though isn't 277. That's where I think the graduate school has their main offices up there now. I'm in 264 or something like that, but my name's on the door. So, and this phone, by the way, no longer works because I don't have a phone in the office at all. They took them all out. You can call it and leave a message, but I don't know where the message is because the phone is gone. But I get an email that gives me the audio, so that's kind of cool. Missing phone, but nonetheless I still get the messages, so that's crazy. They're saving money, I guess, whatever. But my home phone works, so, and I have that posted on the syllabus, I think so. By the way, I can't update the web page that's on here anymore because it's too old. That's the problem with that. I first built this page in 1995, and I put the code in myself back then. That was, before we had software that would do it. So, however, but I try to keep to most of the same things. So notice a lot of it is the same. So I can go here, talk about the first lecture, what is philosophy, love of wisdom. We talk about learning the tradition, taking up the quest, study of the tradition, reading the text, interpretations, etc., and so on. Why would you want to study it? I like this. There's three answers. Who am I? What is my place in the universe? And how do I maintain that place? Does that make sense? I need a narrative to know who I am, what my role is. So I study the different answers to that question. And I end up getting lots of answers, historical answers. They change pretty rapidly. That's why I prefer going through a historical point of view to find out why it is that we got to the situation we're in today. So, all kinds of interesting problems associated with it. So there's the historical approach, which is the one I take. There's an encyclopedic way of thinking you can somehow answer all the questions. That doesn't really work. Genealogy, Nietzsche is especially associated with the genealogical point of view on that. But the tradition, this is what we usually cover, and so I'll cover the things that we usually cover, especially because if afterwards you take a test, like the graduate record exam, you want to know what the official right answers are. And so when we cover some of those, I'll point out, okay, Descartes called a rationalist, he's, believes that there's both a body and a mind, and that they're separate, but they're connected, through the pineal gland. That's the official version, for example, on Descartes. But then I'll point out that some of the books I've read convinced me that he was just saying a lot of that stuff because he didn't want to get burned at the stake. It was really just a materialist. But, that's not the right answer. So if you're taking the test, don't go by just what I think is the real right interpretation, but instead give the answer that they're expecting you to give if you want to pass the test, and so on. Okay. So, picking up, really, the first philosopher, officially, everybody says this, is Thales of Miletus. And why is he considered a philosopher when really a lot of the things he thought weren't all that different from a lot of his contemporaries? He's considered to be the first person to think that there's some way of explaining the world apart from a resource to gods. So instead of saying that gods created it, he was questioning, well, what is the world made up of? And his answer, and we call this the arche, A-R-C-H-E in English, which is essentially the word you see in archaeology, architecture, arch, etc. And that means basically the basic building block of everything. And his answer was water. Water was apparently the first answer for that. And it's interesting to me that Thales actually means water, basically, which, thalo means I want to die, actually, I think. But Thales, I believe, you can look it up, you figure out your Greek letters and so on, and you get water, basically. Which is an interesting thing, by the way. The Greek names that we see, like Aristotle, for example, Aristoi means the best, and telos means purpose. And what is Aristotle famous for? The best purpose, the best design, creating a philosophy that's literally arranged the best way. So in a sense, Aristotle means what he did. Plato is an interesting name because that one is a nickname and it means broad. That's why we get plate, for example. Plateau. In fact, years ago when the word processors first started helping you with your spelling, I used to get a lot of term papers on plate. Because people typed Plato and they got plate and it didn't fix it. So I got a lot of papers on that. But Plato's a nickname that means broad. Why? Best answer, I think, is that he had broad shoulders and he was a good wrestler. But his given name was Aristocles, which means the best and the honor of. So, in a sense, his name means the honor of the best. And when you study Plato's philosophy, what you get is an elitist philosophy. So basically, his name, Aristocles, is again almost exactly what his philosophy basically represents. Heracles, Hera is the wife of Zeus, and Hera is where we get the word hour from. So her main concern is time and order and matrimony. It's kind of a mess,